Just as Yang Kai felt sorry and sad for the Heaven's Devourer battle law, there was a flash of inspiration in his mind, and a thought that excited him came out. The Heaven's Devourer battle law can swallow the spiritual things of the world and turn them into their own use. The natural divine ability of the Stone Puppet Clan is that it can devour and refine various minerals, remove the waste, and strengthen itself. The two are surprisingly similar in some aspects. Moreover, stone puppets are not flesh and blood. In terms of adaptability and endurance, what creatures in the world can be more powerful than them? Just say Xiao, even the sun's true essence can be devoured, let alone other things. What would happen if the Stone Puppet Clan were to practice the Heaven's Devourer battle law? Generally speaking, it is impossible for the Stone Puppet Clan to practice any cultivation technique, because although they are exceptionally talented and extremely powerful, their IQ is too low to understand the mystery of any cultivation technique, let alone cultivating it. The Creator is extremely fair, bestowing the Stone Puppet Clan with a strong physique and tremendous destructive power, and even a very high length, but obliterating most of their spiritual wisdom. If the Stone Puppet Clan also has a high level of intelligence, then they will surely become a race comparable to the ancient Holy Spirit, and it is the case for all family members. This is an extremely terrifying thing. But Yang Kai has embodiment. The embodiment was originally transformed from a golden stone puppet, fused with the entire floating continent, and it has Yang Kai's spirit clone. The embodiment was equivalent to Yang Kai's second body. The fact that the Stone Puppet Clan cannot practice cultivation technique does not mean that embodiment cannot. Thinking about it, Yang Kai's blood began to boil. He suddenly discovered that the embodiment actually had such a unique advantage in front of the Heaven's Devourer battle law. He swiftly moved his spiritual mind, and took back a strand of spirit clone stored in the embodiment, and then poured the Heaven's Devourer battle law and many of his previous insights into the spirit clone, and then his body flickered and came to where the embodiment was. The spirit clone flew out again, pouring into the huge mountain-like body. Immediately afterwards, the embodiment assumed an extremely weird posture, looking solemn. Began cultivating the Heaven's Devourer battle law. Initially, there was no change, but with the passage of time, a clicking sound suddenly came from inside the huge embodiment, and Yang Kai was slightly surprised. He thought it was something wrong with cultivation. But after he take a closer look at the situation on the spirit clone side, it was discovered that this was not the case. The squeaking sound continued, and then, there was a whistling movement. Large swaths of rock-like objects fell from the body of the embodiment, and when they hit the ground, they turned into dust and flew everywhere. Yang Kai's eyes lit up and couldn't help grinning. The Heaven's Devourer battle law is really extraordinary, it is simply a superb cultivation technique tailored for the Stone Puppet Clan. Because the things that fall from the embodiment are all impurities and useless things that have been devoured. The embodiment was originally integrated with the entire floating continent. In the past few years, it has been using the natural divine ability of the Stone Puppet Clan to refine it. Unfortunately, the progress is very slow, so the body has always been huge and it is inconvenient to move. Yang Kai fought many times and never thought of using his embodiment for this reason. Its body is too huge, and trying to get it out of the mysterious boundary bead requires a lot of divine consciousness power. How can Yang Kai use it when it is not a last resort? According to the previous progress, Yang Kai estimated that it would take at least 10 or 20 years before the embodiment would gradually shrink to a height of more than a dozen feet. Only then can the embodiment be used at will. But when that time comes, Yang Kai's strength is definitely more than the current level. How much help can the embodiment comparable to the Third Order Void King realm be able to play? In fact, Yang Kai has been having a headache for the embodiment, but he has no good solutions and can only ignore it. But now, a set of Heaven's Devourer battle law seems to be able to solve this problem. The Heaven's Devourer battle law, combined with the natural divine ability of the Stone Puppet Clan, made the speed of the embodiment refining impurities suddenly increased. Countless discarded impurities fell from the embodiment body, the essence remained, and the outer shell of the embodiment seemed to be peeled off. Maybe it won't take long for the embodiment to become another great help for Yang Kai. This is not over yet. What excites Yang Kai most is that the embodiment also has a set of cultivation technique that can be practiced to become stronger. The Stone Puppet Clan can't cultivate, they can only devour minerals and strengthen themselves through innate natural divine ability. Xiao has grown stronger in this way. But now, the embodiment not only possesses the natural divine ability of the Stone Puppet Clan, but also has the assistance of Heaven's Devourer battle law, Under the two approach, as long as the materials are supplied, its strength can be greatly improved in a very short time. Patter. It's like there was a meteorite shower where the embodiment was, and countless impurities peeled off from its body, and soon piled up into a thick layer on the ground. With the soul clone presiding over the cultivation of the embodiment, Yang Kai didn't need to bother to pay attention to it. Therefore, Yang Kai quickly began to cultivate peacefully nearby, carefully transforming the source strength in his body. The starlight in his body has now been used up, and if he wants to promote the speed of the source strength transformation, he can only use the source congealing pill. Although the effect is slower than that of starlight, the source congealing pill produced by Yang Kai is of good quality, so it is not bad, and, for some reason, he consumes the source congealing pill faster than ordinary Void King Realm, and a lot faster. The general Third Order Void King Realm martial artist, taking a source congealing pill, is enough to support the cultivation for about 3 days, which means that within these 3 days, the medicinal effect of the source congealing pill will always be effective. But Yang Kai ran out in 1 day. He thought about it, but he could only think of the Star Master's body. The body of the Star Master may be faster than the normal Void King Realm in terms of the speed of the source strength transformation. Therefore, the consumption of source congealing pill is also larger. But this is a happy event for him. He doesn't need to worry about source congealing pill now. He can refine it after he has used it up. The most urgent thing for him now is to fully transform his source strength as soon as possible, improve his combat effectiveness, and reach the promotion of principal source stage. Time flickered, and 7 days passed. Yang Kai walked out of the mysterious boundary bead. When he swept away his spiritual mind, he immediately noticed that someone had touched the traces of his cave mansion's restriction, and then looked outside. Yang Kai couldn't help frowning, took out his identity plate, and closed all the restriction. Outside the cave house, a man dressed as a shopkeeper waited anxiously, holding a communication compass in his hand, and seemed to be constantly communicating with someone. When he was anxious, Yang Kai's voice suddenly came from his ear, "Come in." The shopkeeper Xiao was taken aback when he heard the words, and immediately overjoyed, he quickly opened the door and entered. "I have seen Pill Master Yang." Xiao hurriedly saluted. "You're welcome, Treasurer Kong asked you to come to me? Is something wrong?" Yang Kai looked at him and asked. This person was the fellow from Spirit Pill Workshop. Yang Kai has seen him several times, so he recognizes him. The treasurer said that you can go to Spirit Pill Workshop after you leave the retreat. He has something to discuss. Treasurer Kong is back? Kong Siren was invited by the City Lord's mansion to accompany him to Jade Clear Mountain to investigate the situation where Vermilion Bird Phoenix appeared. Yang Kai knew this, but there was now a black flame there, and it was destined to find nothing. Calculating the time, it's almost time to come back. The treasurer has already returned the day before. Pill Master Yang, if you are fine, it is better to go to the Spirit Pill Workshop to have a discussion with the treasurer. The treasurer has urged me many times to take you there. The shopkeeper Xiao showed a smiling face. Okay, I'll be there. Yang Kai nodded. Although he didn't know why Kong Siren was so eager to find him, he also knew that something must have happened, otherwise, it would be impossible for this guy to keep waiting at the door of his cave house. No need to pack anything, Yang Kai immediately left the cave house and rushed to Spirit Pill Workshop with Xiao. Not long after entering Spirit Pill Workshop, Kong Siren immediately pulled Yang Kai into a secret room. Seeing his mysterious look, Yang Kai couldn't help but wonder, what is the matter, Treasurer Kong? Kong Siren smiled and said, Pill Master Yang, there is something good. What's good? Star Envoy Lord wants to give us a chance. Do you think this is a good thing? What do you mean? Yang Kai frowned. It was difficult for him to understand what Kong Siren said so vaguely. It's like this. Kong Siren poured a cup of tea for Yang Kai and said, in 3 days, Star Envoy Lord will open the 5 Colors Treasure Tower in Maplewood City. 5 Color Treasure Tower? Yang Kai was even more at a loss. What is that? Kong Siren opened his mouth suddenly, and seemed to be a little surprised that Yang Kai hadn't even heard of the 5 Colors Treasure Tower, but when he thought about Yang Kai's various ignorant deeds before, he quickly became relieved. Patted his head and said, it was Kong who was confused and didn't explain it to Pill Master Yang. Pill Master Yang, please don't blame. Yang Kai's expression was sullen, knowing that Kong Siren was saving face for him, and he didn't say a word, looking at him seriously. The 5 colors treasure tower is an emperor treasure. Emperor treasure? Yang Kai raised his brows. Yes, and among the emperor treasure, it is also an extremely advanced existence. Kong Siren smiled slightly, seemingly satisfied with Yang Kai's expression, but, the 5 colors treasure tower is a very special emperor treasure, it does not have the ability to attack or defend. Can't attack, can't defend, what can it do? It can be used for cultivation? Although Yang Kai is a little ignorant of the star boundary, he still knows some common sense. The function of the artifact is nothing more than attack and defense. Since it is neither of them, then it can only be used for cultivation. Almost. Kong Siren chuckled, the 5 colors treasure tower is used for training, and it has always been the treasure that only the Star Soul Palace martial artist can enter for training and gaining experience. Listening to the meaning of treasure Kong, does this 5 colors treasure tower form the world of its own? Yang Kai immediately thought of this possibility. Kong Siren looked at Yang Kai in astonishment, with a look of admiration. Pill Master Yang really has a keen mind, and quick in thinking. Yes, this 5 colors treasure tower indeed form its own world, and it is a very mysterious world. To be continued.